Welcome to the Stretch to Go podcast. My name is Ian Ray, your host today. And today I have the privilege of inviting Maria Alfieris from Princeton, New Jersey. She is a physical therapist of over 40 years. She's also the founder and creator of Magical Hands Healing, a type of fascia work that we're actually going to be diving into. And I've invited her because since the beginning of my fascia journey, I've been intrigued of how people are incorporating fascia into their different modalities and work. And I saw that Miss Maria has been doing this for a while, and she has a lot of great things that I'm sure we can all learn. So, Miss Maria, welcome to the Stretch to Go podcast.
Thank you so much, Ian. How are you?
I am doing great. The sun is out, and it's been hopefully it's going to be a great day today. Nice weather.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So, Miss Maria, for those of my audience who probably don't know much about what you do,
Right.
could you kind of share with us your background? Like, how did you get started in fascia work, and what intrigued you about fascia?
Well, I'm a physical therapist by trade. So back in the day, I wanted to be a hands-on type of clinician back then. So it was the fascia work that pulled me. Not that a lot of people were teaching it or doing it, but it seemed to me that that was the route to go for, because I was deep into healing work. And I studied with a few organizations like the Upledger Institute and some Rolfers that were creating their own classes. And I was really intrigued by the autoimmune system that it infiltrated and how it affected your autoimmune system and how it facilitates deep healing. Because right now they have studies that the meridians run through the fascia. So there's a real kind of cool aspect that fascia's really got an energetic imprint to it. You know what I mean? It's part of the energy medicine component modalities, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So, what type of physical therapy were you doing prior to doing fascia work?
I was just doing fascia work in my practice. I had a practice for 30 some years, and we were just doing hands-on fascial release. And then we would provide, yoga postures for home and of course, strengthening and conditioning for people as their second part of their workout. The first part was let's get them out of pain, let's get the range of motion back. And then, we gave them a home program. So it was always a hands-on practice.
Love it. Yeah, I believe it's with fascia. I mean, you have to have the hands-on work to feel the energy coming
Yeah.
from your clients,
Yeah.
definitely. And
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not something you can talk about. It's for me, and you could probably attest, is that the work is done on the table, not by verbally. I could tell you
Exactly.
everything, but you won't feel the effects of what this fascia work can do. So that is amazing.
Yes.
Quick question: what made you come up with the name Magical Hands Healing?
I don't know, God. I don't know. My first business name was Range of Motion Physical Therapy. And then I always taught, I was always teaching. I taught since 1986. I don't know. I don't know. It was just, it was just imprinted. It just got channeled in. It's catchy, isn't it?
It is. I mean, it's obviously what you're doing with your type of workshop. It's really hands-on, and like I said, you probably. I think I caught some of your videos where people have felt that release through your therapy, through your modality. So it's amazing. It's definitely connects to what that name Magical Hands Healing is.
Yeah. I mean, we all have magical hands. It's just facilitating them the right way. That's all. And that's what we teach.
So as far as what your background of where you're from, I guess with fascia work, who are the typical demographic and population that you typically serve and treat in the past?
Just people with all kinds of physical issues. But now, later in my practice, I have incorporated a lot of emotional, physical, spiritual healing in my work. So it really shifted a lot the last 20 plus years because fascia has such a component of healing on all three levels.
What
So
are the three levels that you describe, I guess, that you teach your clients?
physical, emotional, and spiritual levels are really what we are able to tap into when we're working with a client or I teach that way as well. But this is a physical, spiritual, and emotional component, fascia work.
Yeah. Have you ever come across, whether if it's clients or your peers, some of the misconceptions about what fascia does and what fascia is? What are some common misconceptions that you have to help people overcome?
Oh boy, that's a tough one. I think people aren't really sure. There's not a lot of misconceptions when people are coming to me. They just want to feel better emotionally, physically, and spiritually. So they know that the fascia holds a lot of their shit. Let's just say physical and spiritual realm. They just want to feel better. And they're looking, sometimes it's a last resort. People come for fascial release. It's a last resort.
Yeah, that's true. Because they've
I don't know.
tried all these different types of medicine or injections,
Absolutely.
surgery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
because I think my beginnings in this fascia work started at a physical therapist, actually office, dealing in pelvic floor. And I recall, her motive was, helping people overcome or helping people get out of painkillers, injections, surgeries, unnecessary. All these, if it's not necessary, there is a way. And I think that's where physical therapy came into play and what she taught her clients is, the type of work that she did with pelvic health. And now that I'm in fascia work, I too am trying to educate clients that what I do is a hopefully it's not some people are coming for a last resort or they're looking for alternative ways to avoid those things because those painkillers, injections, they are at times beneficial, but could it be avoided? Possibly,
Right. Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, it's too bad it's not a first line of defense, that it's a last line of defense. It's kind of sad because it's not really recognized or referred to a whole lot, but people kind of seek it out on their own. That's why I do so much educating on my platforms, to
Mhm.
educate people that it's body, mind, spirit.
Yeah, they're all connected, correct? Your mind and your body, and they're all
God,
interconnected.
yeah, they are. Yeah, allopathic medicine doesn't recognize that, but Eastern medicine does. Yeah.
And so for you, can you describe me your workshop? So if someone who is coming to learn about fascia and
Yeah.
they're looking at your workshop, can you give us just briefly like what does it entail? Like what are they going to be experiencing and what?
Right. Well, basically, what it entails is they come in and we invite people of all walks. You don't even have to, you could just come in for personal growth. But what we're teaching is you how to learn with your hands or your tools. I call them tools, your hands, your elbows, your forearms, your knuckles, your palm, how to get in touch with the fascia, and then how to release the fascia at different places on the body. In a 2-day workshop, we go through from head to toe. In a 1-day workshop, we do big parts of the body and we share about the emotional causation that's held in each of those parts of the body. And people walk away after a day of this work where they've released a lot of their stuff that plagued them and they've learned how to release. And it's a very life changing kind of day. It's a spiritual day, it's an emotional day, it's a physical release day. So there's a lot of toxicity that's being released, and people they tap into their divinity. So that's the type of energy we kind of bring forward. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And do you typically find these locations that you have the workshops or people actually inviting you to their clinics and
Both.
whatnot?
Yeah, we get invited, or I see there's a big need. So out in LA, there's a big need out in LA. So I found one environment that really can hold 50 to 60 of us. And then other places, especially in Europe, I get invited. And then, like, I go to Greece once or twice a year and I do a retreat. So I have nice places over there that I pick. But yeah, it's kind of a combo of both. We seek it out and people seek us out. So it's really nice.
And for the 2-day course, correct? um, what are some of the things like you typically have seen people come away with after the 2-day workshops? What are they going back home
Well,
with?
a lot of people leave pain free. They leave fluid like, they leave with a deep sense of connection to themselves. They have an awakening of, wow, energy medicine. This is like a whole new ball game. People walk away with such a Zen feeling. People walk away with getting in touch with their inner child and a lot of emotional releases that happen. People walk away with a lot of toxic release. So for a few days, they're not feeling so great because that's part of the toxic release.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's kind of like a cluster of different things, you know? People tap into their joy because they're so layered up. They don't feel their joy, but they declump themselves, or I call it defacoct themselves. They get released, and I have a lot of medical terminology I use on a funny level. But yeah, it's a life-changing in a 2 days. Even a 1 day is life-changing. And it's a group experience. It's in that group energy, working with your partner or, whoever you're partnered up with. It's very, very, very life-changing. That's all I can say, because we're doing energy work.
So I guess some of the people who do come in to your workshops, I know you said it's for everyone and anyone, but typically are they like Reiki practitioners, physical
They're
therapists,
everything.
massage therapists?
Everything. They're everything. They're lay people. They're people that just want to heal. They're psychologists, they're therapists, they're massage therapists, they're athletic trainers, they're estheticians, they're everybody. We have a lot of people that are doing trauma therapy that come in because they want to add this to their clientele. Yeah, so it's everybody. It's such all walks of life. Construction workers. I mean, I am telling you, everybody. It's pretty, yeah.
Interesting. That's definitely, I feel like as a fascia therapist as well, we do have
Mhm.
people, different lives, different backgrounds. And so it's intriguing to see that people are actually seeking these type of modalities to, incorporate or even a career change because they probably found something that they love seeing results or they feel like
Yeah.
they love to give back to people and heal bodies. That's another aspect I think I probably haven't covered in my podcast is like how fascia and emotions, how they play a big role. Kind of help me like in your workshops and in your teachings. What are
Mhm.
some basic level things that you teach people about how fascia and emotions go hand?
Well, I teach that the fascia is a expression of the fascia holds the diary of your lifetime experiences. So I share how the fascia is the butterfly net that we sit in, but it also is the first line of defense to catch those energy cysts of emotional, physical, and spiritual trauma. So traumatic energies that come at us from birth up until where we are now are sitting in our system as emotional, physical, and spiritual trauma. So when we start to work on people and we start to release them, sometimes they don't even know that trauma's up and ready to be released. It's kind of like I don't know how to explain it. Like it's like a peeling an onion layer. So you peel one layer and it's like, wow, that was there, you know, like, it's really like I said, it's like it's such a cathartic experience. It's very hard for people to, you have to feel it and get it done to really understand it, but it is literally helping people get out of their own prison in a sense, because people are so locked up in such limited belief systems and old experiences that they don't wanna let go of. That's why it's so body, mind, and spirit related.
Yeah. My parents, I could probably think of my parents, my upbringing, had a pretty good upbringing, but I'm sure some kids that had a traumatic experience raising up, whether if they're, divorced, their parents divorced, you're in foster care, orphan, like, so I think that too. I know I saw another clip of yours where you were working on a person and helping release that traumatic, the inner trauma of a child coming
Inner
out.
child.
And yeah,
Yeah. We hit a lot of that. Yeah. Yeah. I bring forward that inner child work in a lot of the workshops nowadays, depending on how open the class is. And I introduce them to that and I get them in touch with that so they can walk away saying, wow, I got to explore this. So, yeah.
so I guess for you, if you if you were to tell someone who is looking into doing fascia work,
Yeah.
what are some things that a person that's brand new to fascia work should dive into? Where should they go for resources to learn about fascia? Should they go to, a workshop? Should they go for literature, research? What are the first things? Because that's what I experienced in July. New to fascia, didn't know what the heck it was. And I dove into the workshop, dove into what I'm doing, but I'm still
Right.
learning. I don't have the years that you do, but as I
Right.
am continuing to learn this, some knowledge of where most people can find credible source of fascia work.
Well, there's definitely a ton of resources out there now. I need a guy wrote Anatomy Trains. That's something that talks about the fascia. What I hear is it's really in depth. For me, I can't do in depth. I'm right on the body and ready to, just kind of engage it. The other place is the Upledger Institute. They teach a lot about cranial sacral work and fascial work on all planes, especially emotional as well. There's a guy named John Barnes that does a myofascial program himself. He's in Pennsylvania. So there's so many different, like I've made it my own. So that's why I make my workshop so accessible because I've made it my own and then I've incorporated my body, mind, and spirit healing in it all these years. So, the readings, you can just look online and see what calls to you. I don't even know if there's a book called Fascia Made Easy, which I would think would be pretty cool, you know, because it's such an easy organ to access. We just make it really difficult. A lot of people make it so difficult and so cumbersome, it's kinda crazy when it's the easiest form of hands-on healing out there. I'm sure back in the day of Jesus, they were doing fascia work all the time, you know? You know? Yeah, hands-on healing, I'm sure, because Jesus was an energy medicine guy, he knew what the hell was going on. So I'm sure that's what he was doing, you know? All that energy work, it's really great shit, great stuff.
I guess I want to kind of move forward to like your future. So currently,
Mhm.
as far as like any lessons that you've learned along the way of building your practice, what are some challenges and obstacles that you faced in becoming an entrepreneur?
Hmm. You know, I I don't know how to answer that because it's so natural for me, so it built naturally. This is my, like, 3rd or 4th business going around because 'cause I'm a lot older than you guys. So it's just innate in me. It just took off a few years ago, and I just say the more you're consistent and persistent with teachings of the work and sharing the work, that's what I'm trying to do now is just get it out on a global level, which we have, and I'm teaching other people to teach and just keep it going. That's it, persistence, keep showing up, and believe in what you do. And make it very affordable. Like, I have a real problem with people that kinda overly charge, and it's so unnecessary. My workshops are very, very affordable. We charge $500 to $600 for 2 days of teaching. And I just think it needs to be at access for everybody and that can come and can do it. That's why we created a 4-hour bundle online. Plus, we show self-fascial release with foam rolling. We have a bundle there that we sell so people can do foam rolling on themselves and sitting, standing up against the wall, sitting on a couch, on a bed, or on the floor, so that they can do self-fascial release and get their own healing, you know?
Yeah.
So I try to make it very accessible, that's all. And I'm teaching other people to teach it, so now that's the goals, like having other people all over the world teaching it and just taking it off our platform. We're helping others to teach.
When's I guess I forgot to ask you, what was the first experience that you personally have felt of fascia work? What was it? Do you recall when you had fascia work done on yourself?
I used it to heal I came in this lifetime with a disease of asthma, so I used it to heal that, and, that was its main modality. I was using it to get into all my organs and, because fascia's encases all the organs, and I used it, and I still use it to heal, elongate, keep my meridian systems open because like I shared with you, They have studies now that the meridians run through the fascia. So I do it for my immune system function. And I started back when just to feel good always, and to always have more mobility and more flow in my, and to be not in pain. I like not in pain. There's no room for that at all for me to live
The
pain free.
lymphatic system. So I've been introduced about the lymphatic system and how that is also connected with the fascia. Is that correct?
The fascia encases the lymph system, so it's the main mobility mover of the lymph. So every time you do fascial release, you're moving lymph. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, because like with lymphatic drainage, I'm assuming that's still fascia work, right?
Technically, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
a lot of the lymphatic drainage work is more of a manipulation type of work. When I teach fascia release, it's more of a facilitation. So we're tapping into the body's innate healing mechanism. So we're not moving, we're not, doing manipulation, or I'm tapping into a whole nother, I'm tapping into the aspect where the inner physician gets facilitated. So it's a hands-on approach, a very deep hands-on approach, but it has a different it's a different not mental, it's facilitation. It's not manipulation. I don't know if that makes sense.
And so like in physical therapy, you're actually manipulating joints and muscles.
Depending on the therapist. Yeah, depending on the therapist. Yeah. It's a different mindset. I'll just say that. It's a different mindset. So when we do fascia work, we're leaning into the system and letting, because it's so connected to their own inner physician, to that whole concept of Eastern medicine. So we let that inner physician do the healing work, not us. We're just vessels. Very different concept.
So the time, I mean the sessions that these people who are getting this type of fascia work with your
Yeah.
modality, how long does it typically range? 30-minute sessions, 60 minutes? It just depends.
Yeah. Yeah, it depends. People go 2 to 3 hours, believe it or not. Yeah, it's pretty intense. Yeah. A lot of the therapists do 2 to 3 hours of work. Yeah, it's intense. You walk out with, yeah, really changed. But a lot of the practitioners love to do that level of work and that time frame of work because they realize they need that much time to help people make a big shift.
Well, I guess that does make sense, especially if they're coming in maybe, frequently or here and there because you're healing bodies of decades, I guess, of work, whether they're
Yeah.
so it would make sense because you want to spend a lot of time to unwind, like you're saying, and peel off all those trauma and things that are in your body. I mean, it's the same thing for what I do. Like when I'm doing fascia stretch, it's like what I do in a 30-minute or 60-minute sessions, I'm dealing with, years of incorrect imbalances or,
Mm.
proper improper mechanics that I have to deal with. So it won't fix it. You might feel good, but the lasting effect is, like you're saying, probably that consistency, persistency of coming in and getting released and learning how to deal with, let's say maybe release of yourself. So I think that's great that you have that self-myofascial release because
Yeah. Yeah.
not only the time that you're sitting with me, it's what are you doing from the time that you see me until you come back to see me.
Yeah.
If
Yeah. Are they doing their homework, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Which is important. The carryover. Yeah.
um, I know you're talking about how you're global, you're getting out there and growing, but what are some marketing or growth tactics have you that's worked best for you and growing your teachings and your workshop? What's been the best way?
Just being authentic on my Instagram and just sharing all kinds of, healing modalities and how I've incorporated them into the fascia work. That's the best for me as far as marketing. It took off because I think it's so authentic. You know what I mean? That's the best I can say. The more you're authentic, the more you're real, the more you share, the more you make an impact. I don't put anything on my platforms unless there's a positive impact, even something funny. Funny because laughing is very healing. So I share a lot of different facets of healing work. And I've grown on that level, I guess. People can identify with what I'm sharing physically, spiritually, and emotionally. And that's how I grew. There was really nothing else that made it grow, to be honest with you, but just being authentic.
So do you have instructors that are teaching with you on these workshops, or is it just mainly you teaching these workshops?
No, I do now. Because in 1 year we just grew so big. So I have a good 3 or 4 instructors. I have one over in Europe, and I have three here throughout the United States that now I'm, having them starting to teach their own workshops because it's getting a little tough for me to be all over the place. It's a little, it's a little crazy.
Yeah.
Considered I was supposed to retire 2 years ago, so it's crazy, but it's good. It's another rebirth. It's very good.
If you had to give any advice to aspiring entrepreneurs
Right.
in general, what are some words of wisdom that you would like to share with?
I think, create what speaks to you and keep it consistent and keep it going and make an impact with it. I mean, if you're just getting out there and starting your work, give a ton of free sessions out. Let people tell 2 people and they tell 2 people and offer it. Make it very affordable. Make it very easy for people to come and work with you. And you don't have to, you don't have to go gangbusters with your pricing. You make it inviting and affordable and show up. Keep showing up for yourself, for your client, and then all of a sudden doors just start to open. I mean, I find that these overpriced people, it's all ego. If you can be more in your soul and more authentic, I think you're going to be better off. That's the best I can say at this point in my life.
When did you start seeing that growth happening? Was it like year 1, year 2, year 3? Like when did you start seeing?
With this situation, probably year 3-ish. Yeah, year 3-ish. I guess people were just ready for it. I don't know. I'm not really. I don't really know. I've had businesses my whole life, so I'm not sure. Yeah, I just kept posting things that would have an impact on people and invite people to maybe look at stuff and start to heal. I think that was the key, just, the impact.
And then as far as your future plans for magical healing hands, what are some of your future goals that you have?
Just to keep spreading it to other people so people can take it and start sharing it all over. My goal is hopefully we have a bunch of different teachers that love the work, that are committed to it, and they keep wanting to share it and teach it. That's it. That's all. Just passing it on, paying it forward.
I guess for you, and in closing, what are some things that for me, if I am continuing to work in fascia work,
Yeah,
what would you suggest I do as I continue to learn about fascia?
I would just study with a lot of different practitioners and
Mhm.
keep honing your skills. I would, like the people I mentioned, the Upledger Institute, I would tap into them. I would tap into all types of fascial people that have been teaching for many, many years and, come to one of our workshops, see how that feels for you. That's what I would say. It's kind of neat to practice with different and learn from different people that have a different slant on it. And there are a lot of people out there now teaching it in their own way, which is pretty cool.
I've always interested in learning the craniosacral therapy because I do a lot of neck work and the craniosacral. So I've always been curious to see how that could help implement in what I do, the fascia
Yeah,
stretch.
yeah. The Upledger Institute has wonderful courses and instructors, and it's a great way to go to learn this work. And they're
Well, Miss
accessible.
Maria, it's been a pleasure. It's
Thank
been a
you.
pleasure having
Thanks.
you on my podcast and learning more
Thanks, Ian.
about the magical healing hands. I would love for you to share with the audience ways that people can follow and also book one of the workshops or even to connect with you for any of the services and workshop that you have. So if you don't
Sure.
mind sharing your a website, an email, a way to book the workshops or even to do some services, go ahead and feel free to share.
On our website, it's www.magicalhandshealing.com. And on there, we have a whole referral page. We have all the links to our workshops and our retreats. On Instagram, on Magical Hands Physical Therapy. That's it. Those are the two main platforms that we use. And our email and our phone numbers are in there, and people can text us and email us. So I hope that helps.
Yes, no, thank you. And then what are some of the workshops that you have for the rest of the upcoming year?
Oh, we have a retreat in Bimini coming up in next week in March. I have a workshop in Delray in March. We have going to Toronto in March. We're going to Dallas and working on a farm with horses. We were invited to work as we have the tables out on the field. The horses will come around and heal with us. We're where else are we going in April? California. Oh, we go back out to LA. We're going back to Florida. We're going to Puerto Rico for a 4-day retreat, a 5-day retreat in May. I'm going to Europe in May. I'm going to Amsterdam, England, Windsor, England, and I'm going to Belfast, Ireland. So I do that once a year. Yeah, we're getting our May or September Greece retreat set up soon. Yeah, we're just, it's kind of going to too many places. Get tired.
I hope that you do have a great support system coming
I
along with
do.
you.
Yeah, I got to get these young millennials working. That's the deal. And that's going to happen. That's happening. So it's really good. I'm very blessed.
Well, thank you so much, Miss Maria,
Thanks.
for hopping onto my podcast once again.
Great.
And for those of you who are listening, don't forget to subscribe, follow the Stretch to Go podcast. We release new episodes every Friday at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard. And all of the information that Ms. Maria just shared with me, I'll put in the show notes. And once again, those of you just learning about fascia, I think it's great. This podcast is made for those who are wanting to learn about fascia and the different types of ways that people are using it to heal bodies. And it's such an interesting thing for me to learn since I'm still new, but there's a lot of people like yourself who are just willing to share their experience and stories. So I appreciate you again, Miss Maria. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Ian. Good luck to you.
Appreciate it.
Okay, and see you soon.
Bye-bye.